77 WABC invite you to a family fun day and softball showdown on July 20th with net proceeds benefiting Shriners Children's. John Sterling will call the game as the FDNY takes on the NYPD with special guests Dwight Gooden, Art Shamsky, 77 WABC hosts including Sid Rosenberg, Anthony Cumia, Lionel, Dominic Carter, and many more. For more info and to buy tickets, go to ShrinersChildren'sChampions.org. That's ShrinersChildren'sChampions.org. This is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
Okay, we'll do the show. All right, we'll just do it. Okay? It's 2:06 now. Let's just stop the lollygagging. Let's put our chairs on all four legs. Let's stop leaning back and whittling. And actually do our show. Good morning there, friends. It is Another Side of Midnight. My name is TJ McCormack. Hi. Hello. And we are back on a lovely Sunday morning. Should be a good Sunday, I believe. No such thing as a bad day, right? We all agree on that, right, class? No such thing as a bad day. We discussed that in our recovery hour. Keep you from, drinking and blowing up your marriage and going and doing something stupid. No such thing as a bad day. And actually, speaking of which, just real quick, right off the top, just in case, I'm just a call out to our friend Keith from yesterday morning. You're more than welcome to call in. Let us know how you be, Keith. If you're there, just give a ring, give a call. Let us know how you feeling today. Okay. How did yesterday go? And, are you in better shape than you were when you called in? And actually, I don't want to ask a leading question. I don't want to place any, qualifiers on this. If you're in worse shape, Keith, than you were, give us a call. Anybody who missed the show yesterday morning, we do an hour where we don't necessarily dedicate it to recovery, to addiction, to sobriety. We don't dedicate the whole hour. Sometimes it works out that way, but we especially encourage the conversation. And a friend called us and was in a bad way. It was really emotional and had been doing well for a while without hitting the booze, and then went back. And so didn't sound like he was in amazing shape. So Keith, if you're there, give us a shout. Okay, buddy? And a couple of people earlier on X, the former Twitter, had actually said first thing they thought about today was Keith. One person offered up prayers for Keith earlier today. So I just want to make sure we say hi to all of the Another Side of Midnight family who are, it was Kathy G. Kathy G, I'm sending blessings to Keith today. This was, yesterday afternoon, that he attend a meeting for himself as well as for his 3 boys. Keith, you can do it. All right. That's from Kathy G. And, also out there, we've got Patty, we've got Kelly, we've got D Ward. Is that Denise? Oh, lovely. We've got, my old pal, Rosalinda, Navy girl, Rosalinda. She's listening. I believe Rosie, Virginia? Pretty sure you're still Virginia. Donna Marie in Philly, Catherine just sent a nice note to our own, Mr. Katz. Thank you there, Catherine. Very, very cool of you to send those lovely words. Shell Bell. There. All the kind words, all the followers, following and tweeting and Xing and posting and whatever the heck else we call those things. So thank you for being a part of the show. At TJ McCormack. You can, if you don't feel like calling, I wish you would, but if you don't feel like calling, at TJ McCormack on X, and, you can take us with you wherever you go on your phone. You can listen, plug it into your car, do whatever you got to do. Just like everything they sell on TV. It's great. The 77 WABC app. It's great for RVs and boats. Take us on your RV or boat. And if you're somewhere else on the planet, a great way to always find us without any issues whatsoever, is, the ABC Radio, WABCRadio.com, WABCRadio.com. It's ABC, 77 WABC app and WABCRadio.com. And there you go. And right here, it's 1-800-848-9222. And, so this hour, we are going to, again, we're going to talk about Mamdani. We have to talk about Zoran. We have to. And I've been training myself all damn day to say Mamdani and not Zamdani. That was driving me nuts last night. I kept stepping on my own toes. But anyway, where I'm going with this guy, clearly we know all of his policies are bad. We had a call yesterday morning, talking about, well, you know, the state stores are good. The government owned supermarkets are good. Well, better than big bodegas. Okay. I get it. But it's not so much that this guy's policies would doom the city. It's that he has no business being mayor. And I just keep wondering, what's the best approach to knock this guy out? And again, tonight, by the way, this morning, we are going to go in the second hour and the third hour. We're going to lighten things up. We're going to talk some fun stuff, some fun New York City centric stuff. Because, so let me just hit this. So we're going to talk Mamdani. We've got, New York State Assemblyman Ari Brown calling up in just a few minutes. Ari is a firebrand. He is a pistol. This guy is a pugilist. Basically, we get him on the, he's on with Sid. He's on with other, hosts here at, WABC. And, you bring him on, you hit the button and you jump the hell out of the way and you let him go. He's out of his mind in a great way. Ari Brown is such a fighter and Jewish at that. And, therefore, I think the ultimate arch nemesis for our anti-Semitic frontrunner for New York City mayor. Anyway, Ari Brown's going to be here in just a little bit. And, we're going to talk about this guy, but we're not just going to talk, oh, he does this and he voted for that and he's the thing. What I want to talk about is how do we take this guy out? And I think I have a good idea. And I'm going to bounce it off Ari Brown in just a little bit. And then, in hour two, in the second hour, while we talk about New York City, I floated this last night and I wondered. And so tonight, this morning, I keep doing that. This morning, we are going to discuss, is New York City, we talk about it, the greatest city in the world. You know, bumper sticker. That's the greatest city in the world. Is it the greatest city in the world? Now, it could still be the greatest city in the world. Is it as great as it's ever been? I submit that New York City might still be great, might still be the greatest city on the planet. I just think it's lost its fastball. Yes, and I'm not just talking about people being smacked in the face with feces. Not just that. Although, when you start talking about feces attacks on the subway and people being burned alive, yeah, sounds biblical, sounds medieval, it sounds Game of Thrones. And those items being in our current events catalog here in New York, burned alive, feces on your face, random slashings and stabbings, all of that, yes, definitely knocks a city down a couple of pegs. New York City, greatest city in the world. They burn you alive. It's really, 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 really good. So my thing is, there was a time when New York City was unbeatable. And I've got some great references here. I've got a book here that I found by accident one time, and I'm not a big book guy, so for me to find a book by accident, that says something. Ooh, that's almost a rim shot. But ooh, that's pretty good. Okay. Anyway, leave it to a comic to hear a rim shot in a book closing. Anyway, this book is called Heart's Guide to New York City, and it's a visitor's guide that was written in 1965. and it goes through just about every single service and venue and night spot and church and hotel. This thing is a Bible describing every awesome thing in New York City in 1965. Let me tell you right now, 1965 beats the daylights out of 2025 New York City. And I'm not just talking about burning and feces facing. All right, so we'll get there. And let's see. So, okay. Now, and also, third hour, we have Fred Rubino coming in. Fred Rubino going to bring in the news headlines. We're going to have a lot of fun. He's going to bring the energy. He's going to come in and just zap this studio right into the stratosphere, which is exactly what we need at 4 a.m. So that'll do it. And then we bring you right up to 5 a.m. and the 5 a.m. news hour. That's what we do on Another Side of Midnight. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-WABC. So, Mamdani, we're going to get to Ari Brown in just a few minutes, but Mamdani, I think this approach to him is knocking him down and knocking him out and making fun of him. And, you know what? These two things, I don't want these to wait too long. So let's get over to, Pamela in New Jersey because this is about Keith. All right. So yes, good morning, Pamela. Before I get into all the, choreographed stuff, let's reach back to yesterday morning. Good morning, Pamela.
Thank you. Good morning. I wanted to give Keith some words of inspiration.
Nice.
In 2019, I got COVID, although nobody knew COVID existed at the time. I had flus before, but this was different. Mm-hmm. And my husband was out of state. It hit me like a bomb. Thank God I could breathe and I didn't have a fever. But I was congested. I had a cough. I lost 32 pounds.
Wow.
And I could feel like the life being sucked out of me. And I, would get up as best I could and throw something in the microwave and drag the garbage out. And I called my doctor and I said, listen, I've got something. I think, I've got congestion and a bacterial infection. If it's the flu, it's secondary infection. Can I have some, azithromycin or something? Oh, well, just try to get through it. We don't like to give antibiotics. And I said, listen, my husband's going to come here and find me dead.
Yeah.
And he's going to know that I begged you for antibiotics because I'm at the point where I need it. And my local hospital, I don't go to hospitals if I don't have to because,
sure.
We all found out what happened there, right?
Right.
And my local hospital had a meningitis breakout.
Oofa.
So I did not want to call for an ambulance. So I said to myself, all right, I'll get through this, if I can, later on, she finally prescribed the azithromycin, and I called and went to the pharmacy, and I actually wore a mask because I didn't want anybody catching what I had.
Wow, before the whole mask thing, huh?
Exactly. I think it was a thing from God or something.
Mm-hmm.
So I said to myself, all right, I felt myself getting weaker, and I felt myself, like saying, I'm going to die. I'm going to die. I know I'm going to die, but I can't die because I have a cat that needs medication every morning.
Right.
And I cannot die because I couldn't live with myself if I died and my cat didn't get the medication. Oh, and another point, they were doing massive infrastructure work on my street. The street was dug up. You couldn't get in and out hardly. You had to ask permission to get in and out or go out early in the morning, whatever.
So getting any of your medicine, getting to urgent care, anything like that, God forbid, or if you needed an ambulance, you'd have been doomed. Right.
They were putting in gas lines and all kinds of big stuff. So I said, I can't die.
Yeah.
I can't. I willed myself. And my inspiration was,
your cat.
I've got responsibilities, and I've got to get up for my cat.
Yeah.
And I swear, my Smokey cat, my other cat took on the characteristics of this cat when she didn't, pass away then. She lived quite a long time. And I swear it was all a religious experience. And I willed myself to do something because I myself could, found the strength within myself to do that. And I know with that kind of an issue with Keith, you're not supposed to, you're supposed to take it on yourself when you can't take it anymore and you find it within you.
Yeah.
Well, I found it within me to survive. And then later on when it came out that this was COVID.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, you felt like you just jumped in front of a train, or just got out of the way of it. Yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, I actually think that not to take your thunder, but I had something insane in about January, February of 20. Had just come back from Europe, and I had pink eye. I had vertigo. I had like a weird version of it. And then you realize a couple of months later. And of course I got a shot and a booster and I got it 2 more times. So, anyway, thank you, Pamela. You're right. It's all about finding that internal strength and, whoever you do it for. I mean, there's no hard and fast rules, but you got to do it for yourself. Let's go quickly to David in Pittsburgh. Good morning, David. You have some kind words for Keith.
Now, for Pamela first, Pamela sounds like a very nice woman.
Doesn't she?
She went through a lot of problems with COVID and everything. My brother had COVID, and he didn't like it. He had it twice, and so did his wife. And her husband was out of the country or something. That was something very hard on her.
I love when Pamela calls up.
Well, wait. First of all, what is going on in New York with feces and stabbings and
David, we're falling apart here. We're falling apart. Pittsburgh is a lovely middle of the road place where 3 rivers meet, and there's a steel industry and good people and I'm sorry about Dave Parker, by the way.
There's even I am too. The Cobra, I once saw him throw a baseball from the right field warning track to home plate on a line drive on one hop to the catcher and get a runner out at home plate from the right field, which was 340 feet away, about 335. From the right field warning track to home plate. I was at that game. I don't know who it was against. I might have been the Reds. And he threw him out on a line drive throw. Not too many baseballs. Mickey Mantle couldn't do that.
David, I didn't mean to introduce such a tangent. Forgive me. I want to bring you back to Keith. I want to bring you back to Keith. Yes.
Keith. Okay. Now, Keith, you didn't call yet. Where the hell are you? You're not at a goddamn bar, are you? In wherever you're from. Hey. All alcohol dissipates out of your body.
Yeah.
After they say an hour or a beer, that's what the legal people say. It takes an hour for a beer to get out of your system. Hey, if you didn't drink today, Keith, you're clean, man.
There you go.
You just about have to be clean.
That's the message right there. Thank you, David. Exactly. Me, I got 20 years, but you know what? Actually, I've got 2:24 a.m. That's what I got. You know what I mean? Jay in Queens. Jay's got a thought for Keith. Good morning, Jay.
Yeah, good morning. Good morning, TJ.
Hello there.
I hope he's listening, Keith.
Yes.
Because, first of all, I'm a veteran during the Vietnam War.
Yes, sir.
And I smoked a lot of grass, believe me. Really, all the veterans,
I believe you.
Smoked.
I believe you, Jay.
It's at least a bag a day.
Wow.
Really?
I would have.
A nickel a day. But you know what? Listen to this story.
Yes, sir.
After the Army, I had to get a job.
Sure.
So I became, for 25 years, I became a school bus driver for the Board of Education.
That's a nice, solid work-a-day job. You were the Ralph Cramden for a bunch of school kids.
Yes, but before I got the job,
A stoned Ralph
Cramden.
Cramden.
I had to get clean.
All right. Were they doing drug testing when you were driving a school bus?
Oh yes, that's the thing. That's what I was afraid of. I had to stop. I put my mind to it. He has a more powerful reason to stop. Forget about my school bus driver. He's got 3 kids.
Jay, I gotta say, yes, I'm sorry, go ahead, you're right. Yes, he has 3 kids. He has 3 young boys.
That should be more powerful.
Yeah. Well, you know what though? They say, and I tell you what it is, man, they say it's baffling. That it's a baffling disease and there's no rhyme or reason to it, man. It's cunning, baffling and powerful. Cunning, that disease. And it does. I mean, you would sit there, you sit there and you hear the stories of people and you have everything to live for. Why would you do that? Why would you throw all of that XYZ away? Why would you walk away from all that wealth, all that power, all that love, all those people who love you, that great job, that great profession that you had? Why would you throw it all away? And cunning, baffling, and powerful. That's what it is. It's the devil's disease. It sits on your shoulder, always tapping you on the shoulder, always intellectually reaching into your brain and saying, boy, a drink would be great right about now. And so a guy like Keith, he knows. So Keith, if you're listening, buddy, give us a call. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-WABC. I gotta say, does Jay sounds like he sounds like this does not sound at all like a weed smoker at all. Like in a million years, if you said, okay, what did Jay used to do? I would say, I don't know. I don't know, dirty movies? I don't know. Not weed. Just now when he said we used to smoke a bag a day. That was the last thing I expected to hear from Jay. I love when Jay calls. I love our family. It's great stuff. 1-800-848-9222. So, do me a favor. So again, Mamdani, a couple of things. First of all, Mamdani is representative of this normalization, right? Not just normalization, but this absolute trafficking in anti-Semitism. And for far too long, and this always bugged me about the anti-Semites, always bugged me. There's a real piece of garbage over in the UK, guy named Jeremy Corbyn. He was like an inch away. And by the way, John and Jacqueline, and I see you there. Please hang in there. We're going to talk to you in a minute. This guy, Jeremy Corbyn, was an inch away from being the prime minister of the UK. Like he was just there. He was the leader of the opposition. He was the leader of the Labour Party. And the guy was a raging, awful piece of garbage anti-Semite. And he always pawned it off as, well, I've trouble with the policies of the state of Israel. It's anti-Zionist. It's anti-Israel's policies, not anti-Jews. We just took that, not we, the media peddled that. Too many people on the left peddled that and just took it as the handoff and the pawn that it was. And it was an absolute joke. But people got away with it. People got away with that whole, I'm not an anti-Semite, I'm an anti-Israel policy wonk. And they would throw at you all these things about Gaza and food, rationing and Occupy and borders and all that. Yeah. And it would drive me nuts every time these people just got away with it. And it has boiled and it has boiled and it has boiled, and now it's a thick stew. It's reduced now. It's a thick reduction of hate that people are now peddling. And again, I'm going to bring up the UK. Okay. So now in the United Kingdom, they are leading the way in the gradual breakdown of free speech. You're seeing people getting picked up, literally arrested in their living room for things they have posted on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram, things that other people have found to be offensive. Now that, and people like Mamdani and places like Columbia University and Harvard University, all normalizing and encouraging and fomenting anti-Semitism and hate left and right, it's brought us to this. This was yesterday afternoon at the Glastonbury. This is going to be cut number one. At the Glastonbury Music Festival in the UK, there was this insane music act. Now, I'm a free speech absolutist, but I can absolutely tell you when something vile is being spoken freely. Dig this. I believe the guy's name is Bob Villain. That's, I believe, the name of this punk act. Cut number one. Listen to this at Glastonbury yesterday.
Free, 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 free.
Palestine.
All right, but have you heard this one, though? Death, death to the IDF. Death, death to the IDF. Death, death to the IDF.
Okay. Death to the IDF. So, that's what Mamdani, he's the tip of the spear in this Gen Y. And this thing started to really, really kick up back with the Occupy protests and all that stuff. All right, so listen, gang. So that's where we're going with this. We got the lines nice and fulled up there here on Another Side of Midnight. When we come back, we're going to talk to you, and we're going to talk to New York State Assemblyman Ari Brown out of Nassau County. And we're going to talk about how do we knock out this guy, Mamdani. What do we do? How do we? Mel Brooks said the best way to get even with Hitler, the king of the anti-Semites, was to make fun of him. Mel Brooks said it was his lifelong obligation to make fun of Hitler because that's the best way to knock a guy like that down. Maybe that's what we do with Mamdani. That's what you got to do. He's a modern day Hitler. 1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-WABC. This is Another Side of Midnight with me, TJ McCormick. We'll be right back. 77 WABC.
It's Another Side of Midnight, 77 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormick.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
1-800-848-9222, 1-800-848-WABC here on Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormick, and we are talking about Zoran Mamdani and the best ways that we can think of to knock the legs out from under this guy's campaign. Again, not only is he unqualified based on his life experience, but he is disqualified, in my opinion, based on just simply his anti-Semitism. And now we're seeing his racism. The guy wants to base tax policy on the color of your skin. That was really, that was Dion as in Dion. Wow, Dion DiMucci and the Belmonts. Wow, very cool. So let's go to someone who is a great resource on all things Mamdani. We spoke to him once so far on this program, and I was an instant fan. And so it's very, very cool to welcome back to the show New York State Assemblyman Ari Brown, representing Nassau County. This guy's a pistol if ever there was one. Good morning there, Ari Brown. Thanks for joining the show this morning. Welcome to Another Side of Midnight on 77 WABC.
Good morning, TJ. Thanks for having me on.
Oh, of course. Look, brother, like I said to everybody a few minutes ago, we just sort of push the button and get the hell out of the way because I don't want to get caught up in your wake. So basically, this Mamdani man, I mean, he pulls off first of all, this guy is so bad that people like you and me were denied the opportunity to celebrate a Cuomo loss. Normally we'd be all happy that a guy like it, but we didn't have time to celebrate because we were left with this guy. You work with him up there. Let's start with this. What is it like to have to share a chamber with a hateful narcissist like Mamdani?
I don't know. The guy never showed up. Did I see him a couple of times? But the guy never, listen, a great deal of Democrats never show up. They swipe in at 9 o'clock and someone else presses the button for them. This guy, I would say 3/4 of the session, he was an absolute no-show. Did I see him in chambers a couple of times, 2 or 3 times, maybe?
Wow.
He'd come in for a quick hit, but would never stay a full session. So you almost never saw the guy. He was campaigning. Even last year, you never saw the guy.
Wow. And now, in terms of what makes him tick and these policies, I just said, look, I think just right off, clearly the policies, the platform that he's running on would doom the city and therefore the metropolitan area. Really any sort of gains or healing that's happened coming out of COVID would be automatically erased. This guy would literally destroy the fabric of New York City, on every single level coming out of City Hall. And so that's we'll all just stipulate to the policies and where he comes from. But just simply, man, Ari Brown, Zohran Mamdani is unqualified based on the fact that he's done nothing in his life previous to this that would set him up to have this, to serve in this role. And he's disqualified because you just can't be an anti-Semite and the mayor of New York City.
No, listen, it's not that he's just a kid, but he's got zero life experience. He's barely an American citizen. Tell me what job he's ever held. Even the job that he has now,
right,
he doesn't do.
Yeah, to your point.
Right. The bottom line is, Zohran Mamdani doesn't just hate Israel. He hates American values and everything that this country stands for. And that's the bottom line. He wants to bring his radical Islamist agenda to America. Mm. And, was he a plant? I believe so. This guy came out of nowhere. Like I said, barely a citizen. If he is really a citizen, I'm not really sure about that. If you listen to his work, his public work from the last couple of years, he had an accent. His accent changes again. He appears before his groups. All of a sudden, he has a Muslim accent. Next week, he'll have a British accent. Mm-hmm. He learned this from his parents. His mother's this filmmaker, and his father's this Columbia Jew-hating, American-hating radical.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's just again, in this city. So what's it going to take? So I was just going to say, in this city with the largest Jewish population outside of Israel, correct me if I'm wrong. I lived in LA too. Lord knows there's a big population there as well. But in this city, when I just think about the Upper West Side alone, and the point is this, Ari Brown, we're talking to Assemblyman Ari Brown out of Nassau County on another side of midnight here on 77 WABC. Here's my thing, man. The Upper West Side, the Upper East Side, the Jewish people who live in New York City love New York City. Like, they are the quintessential New Yorkers. And there's something about a New York City, Jewish, and culturally Jewish, not even necessarily religiously Jewish, culturally Jewish. I love that about my Jewish sisters and brothers. There's a culture to it. You're born Jewish. You don't worship Jewish. It's a whole thing. And as an Irish Catholic guy, but somebody who's been in show business a long time, I have an affinity and a love for Jewish culture. And I say all that to say, I'm waiting for them to rise up. I'm waiting for them to defend their city from this guy. And then you fold in the anti-Semitism. So what's it going to take? You've been in government. You're an elected official. You know what you're doing when it comes to a campaign. How do we knock this guy out? What, if you were running, not necessarily, one of the other campaigns, but like if you were running a campaign to knock out Mamdani, what are you doing, Ari Brown? How would you approach that?
TJ, there's a lot to unpack there. I mean, you want to answer the question.
Please.
Why the only yarmulke-wearing Republican state legislative history. I was the first guy in office 27 years ago in a different capacity. I've been in office 28 years to wear a yarmulke. You want me to tell you why Jews always vote the wrong way?
Please.
I have no idea. I have no idea. It's thinking that the world's going to love them. I always tell my colleagues on the other side of the aisle, they're not going to like you. They're always going to hate you. And when you're weak, like Schumer, he says he's the Shomer. Shomer means guardian. When you're weak like Schumer and support a guy like Mandami who's looking to destroy you, just get the hell out of the way. I mean, you're totally useless. Schumer, Nadler, really pieces of garbage. He asked the question. He said, what's it going to take?
Yes, sir.
No, DJ, it's not about politics. What is it really about? The first obligation of government, as Reagan said, is to what? Protect its citizenry.
Yes.
Mandami does not represent that at all. He represents division. There's only one guy who represents what we're looking for. It's Curtis Sliwa.
Yep.
And this is the guy, I don't know, the Jewish people, all of us should back.
Yeah.
New York doesn't need another Instagram activist. We need a mayor who knows the city. I mean, like Curtis has been there with us for 50 years protecting the citizens of New York. This is the guy that we need, not a guy who's looking to destroy us.
A guy who in his teens started riding the subway, putting his own life on the line. I mean, what he built with the Guardian Angels, Curtis Sliwa, I submit would definitely be in the running for the New York City Mount Rushmore. I remember growing up, cause what is he? He's like about 60 something. So, he's maybe, what's he? 70 now.
The skirt is 70.
Jeez.
But strong as an ox.
Yeah, strong as an ox. He's a bull. And the thing is I remember as a kid growing up in White Plains and watching the news and seeing the Guardian Angels on TV. And then one time being on the subway with my grandma, coming out of the Bronx and actually seeing a Guardian Angel. It was like seeing a guy it was like seeing like an army hero or something like that, a superhero. And so now this guy gets, it's almost farcical that you have Curtis Sliwa, a Superman, who has been nothing but giving of service. He's been of service his entire adult life. And this punk, this anti-Semitic, hateful punk who has no interest in protecting the citizenry, but putting them in danger. It's a no-brainer here. We gotta support Curtis. And he ain't going nowhere. He's not stepping aside, Curtis.
You're absolutely right. Mandami represents the division, like I said. Curtis represents action, a care and a love for our community, for our Judeo-Christian ethic, for our American values. Yeah. I mean, you want free buses? Right, great. You want free supermarkets, whatever the heck he's talking about? Vote for that piece of garbage. You'll see how much you like this communist way of life. That's really what it is. The guy's a kid. Can you imagine hiring a kid that never held the job?
Right. It's to be mayor of New York City. Hey, do me a favor. Do you mind? I've got a couple of calls online. Do you mind if I take a call or two with you on the phone here? All right, let's do this. Let's get to Russ in White Plains. Russ, you're on with Ari Brown, New York State Assemblyman. Good morning.
Hi, TJ. Hi, Ari. Mandami looks a lot like Rob Lawler. He's separated at birth almost. Do you see how much they look alike?
Mike Lawler. Yes, they do. Yes. Both have black beards.
No, Mike's a million times better looking and a million times better guy.
Yeah, and much more charming.
So Ari, this is Eric Adams, New York, with burning and feces on the subway. And let me tell you something. Curtis wants Mandami to win. He's got a wife that's a Bernie bro, a lifetime contract at ABC, and a rent-stabilized apartment. That's why he's staying in it. And, the largest Jewish population city in the world, nobody here ever calls. I never heard Mandami call another Jew garbage or vermin, okay? And why don't you just tell us if Sharia law is coming?
Go ahead. Go ahead.
This is what's going on.
Let Ari answer you. Go ahead, Ari.
Okay.
Sound like you went two different ways. I'm not sure where you're going. Are you supporting Mandami? I will tell you, this guy is the guy that stands with the people that says rape is resistance regarding October 7th.
Boom.
He's the guy that...
You asked me if
hold on, Russ. Russ, hold on. Go ahead, Ari.
He's the guy that screams from the river to the sea. He stands with the people that raped, murdered, and burned Jewish people on October 7th.
Okay. All right, let me answer that, okay? Yes, I voted for Mondami, and he speaks Swahili, which I doubt, Ari, you do. Okay, and what he
There's
said
a big
about
need
Israel,
for Swahili.
Israel has a right to exist without Jewish supremacy. Do you like Iran? They have Muslim supremacy. Do you think when a nun wears a habit, it's like a Muslim hijab, or when a Jewish person wears a yarmulke? I mean, be realistic, man. You're gaslighting, and it's a red herring what you're doing.
All right, thanks, Russ. Thanks, Russ.
TJ, another
Yes, sir.
fool gets on the radio.
Yeah.
But Zoran Mandami is a vicious anti-Semite.
Yeah.
When you say you're anti-Zionist, means you're anti-Jew.
Exactly.
But he doesn't have to hide behind it. The words come out of his mouth, and it sounds like you are also Ross, whatever the heck your name is.
Yeah, that was Russ.
Go join your Mandami freaks, and you know what? We'll put an end to you like President Trump did when he won. You want to join the radicals with the shaven hair and the purple hair? Go ahead. We know what you're all about. Go to Columbia or Harvard and stand with your people.
Let's get to Jacqueline on line 5. Jacqueline in Brooklyn, Mamdani conversation. You're on with Ari Brown. Hi, Jacqueline. Jacqueline, you there once? Jacqueline,
yes,
yay!
I want to thank you for having your previous caller on before me.
Yes.
You may not be familiar with him, but those of us like myself who are loyal WABC listeners and callers know him for the communist that he is, and I'm only stating what he has stated himself. He is a self-hating Jew. That being said,
yes, ma'am.
What I would like to share is partly to add to what you already stated about Curtis. In answer to your rhetorical question, what needs to be done to annihilate this cretin is people need to donate to Curtis. He now qualifies for 8-to-1 matching funds. So people that are common sense Democrats, independents, Republicans, and conservatives need to tell everyone that they know to contribute to his campaign. They need to vote for Curtis. They need to explain to everyone that they know Curtis will be the best choice for mayor because he will appoint the best people to help him run this city and, most importantly, to clean up the crime that has been plaguing the good people who live here. He is the man to get the job done. And as far as energy, I went to a fundraiser for him Thursday evening. I went to another fundraiser for him several weeks ago, last month. And I also went to a local community event yesterday afternoon. I was wiped out and exhausted, and I'm 10 years younger than him.
Jacqueline,
the man has undeniable energy.
I bet you Ari's going to agree with this, and thank you for all that feedback, Jacqueline. Ari, he needs boots on the ground. That's one thing. You and I both know this. It's one thing to have the energy. It's one thing to get that dough, but he needs people knocking on doors.
Absolutely. You know what? If you remember a few years back when President Trump, before he was President Trump ran, they asked Ann Coulter, who do you think's going to pull this off? And she said, Donald Trump, and everybody laughed. This is the same situation. Mm. You know, Curtis Sliwa is not some cartoon character that they're making him out to be.
No.
He is a true American patriot and hero.
Yeah.
He's a guy that loves you if you're black, you're white, you're Spanish. It doesn't matter. Jewish, Catholic, Muslim, stands up for everybody. This is the kind of guy that we want.
Yeah, so, I totally agree. I know, let's take one more call while we have you. Let's get over to Mike in Queens. Mike, good morning. You're on Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormick and Assemblyman Ari Brown. Hey, Mike. Hey, Mike. One more time. Oh, what am I gotta do? Mike. Don't go no. Okay, all right. So let's see. Let's then get over to John on line 4 real quick. John on line 4, and then we got to say goodbye to Ari Brown. John, good morning. Oh my God, he's literally snoring. Oh my God. There you go. Isn't that beautiful, Ari? At least, hey, look, John's honest. He just fell asleep. All right. Finally, you know what? Okay. Let's get over to Keith in Cincinnati. Finally, Keith, good morning. You want to talk about Mamdani with Ari Brown?
Yeah. This is one thing that bothers me about this crazy Mamdani and a whole bunch of politicians in New York.
What's that?
Let me explain something to you, what we have here in Cincinnati. He's got this crazy idea of taking over grocery stores.
Right.
What we have here in Cincinnati, Ohio, and Hamilton County in northern Kentucky and Indiana, and I was one of the people that founded it, what is known as the Free Store Food Bank and the Free Store Food Bank system, where grocery stores from all over this part of the country donate millions of dollars to it, and it helps out people that are on fixed incomes, SSI, SSDI, veterans benefits, unemployment, helps out people that have children that are on WIC,
Keith,
and all this type of
Keith,
stuff.
you got to forgive me. We're up against it. I want to get Ari's thoughts on that program that you founded. Ari, that sounds like a pragmatic means to an end, right? A way to answer a need, right? Serve the needs of the people.
I'm with you. Before we talk about giving away free things to anybody else, it's the veterans come first. I gave away my kidney to a Purple Heart veteran. Veterans come first. I don't want to hear about anybody else. Everybody else can start and get to work.
Oh, my God, I love this guy. Oh, my God, I love you, Ari Brown. Dude, thank you so much, Assemblyman, for calling and at this time of night. But, man, every time you do, you just raise the level of the conversation, the energy, the show. So thank you very much for your time this morning. New York State Assemblyman Ari Brown, I appreciate it.
Thanks, TJ. Remember, everybody, reject Mondami's fantasy politics and anti-Semitic alliances. Vote, vote, vote for Curtis Lewa.
Boom, boom, boom. Definitely. We will talk again, sir.
Thank you.
All right, brother. Thank you. Thank you very much. I just saluted the screen, thanking him. What kind of lunatic am I? All right. It is time to take a break, and we're going to go right up to the top of the hour. My name is TJ McCormick. This is Another Side of Midnight on 77 WABC, 1-800-848-9222. Thanks for being here, family. Thank you. Good morning. We shall return.
It's Another Side of Midnight, 77 WABC. Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormick.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
Good morning, all. It is Another Side of Midnight here, coming up on 3 a.m. It's 2:59, 28, 29, 30. My name is TJ McCormick. This is Another Side of Midnight. It's 77 WABC. When we come back, we're going to talk about a few things. I'm going to kick it off the next hour with asking, what the hell happened to Q-tips? How's that for a talk radio subject thing? That, a few other things we can talk about. Is New York City still great? I have some great stuff to talk about from some previous great days here for the Big Apple. 77 WABC, we shall return. Thanks, everybody.
It's Another Side of Midnight, 77 WABC. The best thing about Music Radio 77 WABC is you. You listen to Vinny Modugno every Saturday at 5 p.m. Followed by Cousin Brucey's Saturday Night Rock and Roll Party. Then at 10, it's Saturday Nights with Tony Orlando. And on Sunday, it's Bulaba Sundays with Sinatra. With your host, Joe Piscopo.
You are the best thing. WABC.
This is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
It is 3:07. That was fun. Okay, that was a bit of an exorcism right there. I definitely exorcised some showmanship there. Thank you for that, Bill. Thank you, Pally. Pally, look, I'm talking Sinatra-ese. And that's kind of where I'm actually living intellectually here right now. Okay, so I submit that New York is, in fact, yes, a great city. Is it as great as it once was? Now, obviously, crime is like an entirely different thing. When I was growing up, New York City, I grew up in Westchester, so, you know, not a silver spoon, but certainly I was a suburban kid. I grew up in White Plains and a lovely English tutor. that I on my best day could not afford now. The starter home my parents bought in White Plains is now probably at about $975. That's the starter home in White Plains that they bought for a song. They exchanged trinkets and a blanket with like an Indian family, a Native American family. That's how we got our first house. Growing up in White Plains in the 70s, it was about muggings. And yes, of course, look, there were murders, people have been murdering people and, yes, but generally speaking, New York City, it was about grit and grime and the bad old days, and it was about, hot town, summer in the city, it was like that. That's what it was. Back of my neck getting dirty and gritty, that was New York, and that was as bad as it got, generally speaking. Did you get mugged? I remember coming down to New York City to get a fake ID when I was in high school. We went to that arcade Playland. Remember Playland in the middle of Times Square? That was also where one of the few times that I did see, oh my gosh, I can't believe it's coming full circle, that I did actually see a few guardian angels in person. It was when my buddies and I came down from Westchester, a bunch of Caucasian miscreants looking for fake IDs so we could go to bars on North Avenue in New Rochelle. And we went to Playland in Times Square to get the fake IDs. Remember that? Anyway, so New York. So I wanted to set the table here with a couple of clips, couple of cuts that we have, that I'm wondering if these will ring a bell. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222. Let me know if these things ring a bell. Now, they're not going back as far as I'm gonna be going back. But these are things that I believe, what do they call them? Is it an earworm? That's what they call, an earworm is like a hook in a pop song, I think, right? This is like that. Okay. So let me see. Bill, do me a favor. This will have to ring a bell this is from the 70s and the 80s. Here's a commercial that used to come on all the time. Actually, let's take a shot. Even though you said the audio, let's see how is it completely unplayable? Number 4? All right. So let's do number 5. Give me cut number 5. Chorus line.
The reason for the lines outside the theater, the line inside the theater. There's Cassie. And Richie.
Give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball, yeah.
And Val.
Orchestra and balcony.
Remember this?
What they want is what you see.
And Mike.
That I can do.
They're all part of a chorus line. The best thing that ever happened to Broadway.
Buy tickets now at Seats Outlets or call 881-1977.
Isn't that incredible? Now, what did how many of you were able to, like, give me the ball, give me the ball, give me the ball? How many right away recognized that commercial? That thing ran over and over and over. And I submit, New York was better back then. New York City it was just something about living in the metropolitan area. You just felt like New York City. You get on, if you grew up in Westchester, or if you were living with a family and you were out in Queens or in Jersey, coming into Manhattan to do that sort of thing. There was a glitz and a glamour to New York City, to Manhattan, that it's just not there. I mean, honestly, and it's even just a physical thing. Just physically, if you come into the city and you have to, and let's say if you're coming down from the counties, or you're coming in from Long Island, you take the train, the one time a year now that you can afford to go to a show on Broadway. God forbid your theater is on the other side of Times Square, right? God forbid you have to actually traipse through Duffy Square in Times Square to get to your theater or a restaurant or something like that. And it's not just about the throngs of people. It's supposed to be throngs of people there, but it's all of the nasty, the selfie Mickey Mouse and the broads in the G strings and the chicas, the naked chicas in their nothing clothes. You know, that's just, it's tacky. It's gross. And the city, and the city is just, so those glorious golden days, I submit, are behind New York City. And I think that should be part of where we hope to get back to. Not just about not lighting people on fire anymore or, bags of excrement attacks. That should be a given, that we're not going to be like Game of Thrones anymore. But let's try to get back to some of the, I don't know, is glitz beyond our reach again? And is glitz worth trying to, something shiny again?
Come on along, I'll take you to the lullaby of Broadway. The Hickory and Ballyhoo.
The lullaby of
The Milford Plaza. And in the center of it all is the Milford Plaza.
Stay at the Milford Plaza Hotel with cocktail, dinner, and breakfast for $49.50 per person. Discover why we are the lullaby of Broadway.
The Milford Plaza
is the lullaby of all Broadway. Cocktail room and $49.90. Come on, man. For a drink and a show and a room? Woo! This used to be the greatest place on the planet. Let's go to Remington in Manhattan. Remington, hello, good morning. You're on Another Side of Midnight with me, TJ.
Good morning to you, McCormick.
Hey.
Sadly,
yes.
I'm a liberal Democrat for years.
That's fine.
Supporter of Curtis.
Okay.
Sadly, the only reason he's going to lose is he's got courage and integrity. Two things that the other politicians running, namely Adams, Mandani, and Cuomo, do not have. I'll hang up now and you can elaborate. Thanks.
Well, okay. Yeah. I mean, look, I think there's something unfortunately to be said about the fact that having those qualities of credibility and class and integrity, mean that, there are certain arrows that might not be in your quiver. Hate sells. And, and being a bully and, like Cuomo and being a hateful anti-Semite, for some reason, there's something eye-catching about those two. Remington, I disagree though. I think the people of New York, when given the choice and given the opportunity to keep a guy like Mamdani out and to send Adams packing, as New Yorkers have wanted for the last year or two, they want Adams to go. I think this is the time that a guy like, and I'm glad that Ari Brown brought this up. I'm glad that Ari Brown went with that 50 years of service that Curtis Sliwa has given to New York City. This guy's already the mayor of New York City. I mean, perhaps it's not that familiarity breeds contempt, but familiarity when it comes to Curtis Sliwa. I'm just now having this epiphany kind of on the air here. So forgive me if I'm kind of amazed at my own thought process. Sometimes I get distracted by how my thoughts come together. Anyway, Curtis, it's again, I'll get right back to where I was. It's not that familiarity breeds contempt. Familiarity can breed complacency. Familiarity can breed taking something for granted, or in this case, taking someone for granted. I don't know if Curtis is listening. If Curtis is listening, I'd be grateful if you, I think you know the number. Give a shout, Curtis, if you're listening. It would be an honor to talk to you for a minute. But I get the sense that Curtis has been with us in this role. He's been in our living rooms and in our cars, in our front seats, in our front speakers, and on our television sets, and at our parades, and on the street corners for so long that we might be taking this guy for granted. Not in the traditional sense, not in a dismissive way, but it's like, yeah, we've got Curtis. Yeah, we've got Curtis. Has there arguably ever been not just a better candidate, but has there ever been a candidate for mayor more deserving and more ready on day one to step into City Hall and run the city and do what's best for the city with no concern for himself whatsoever? It's not like I'm turning around. I've always been for Curtis, but I'm suddenly just sort of having this sort of moment of clarity here where Curtis Sliwa, and again, this is another thing that who else living today knows every single square inch of the city of New York, every borough and every block and every square inch of subway track and an MTA platform? Who else but Curtis Sliwa should have ever been asked to be mayor of New York City? We should be asking him to please be the mayor of New York City, sir. Sticks his neck out as a kid to start the Guardian Angels, out there fighting knife and gun wielding thugs with bare hands. The only thing protecting them was a nylon track jacket. Remember the jackets? A red rain slicker and a beret. That was the cape. That was the cape and the mask. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-WABC. Singing the praises of Curtis Sliwa and New York City. Yeah, Joaquin, in PA. How are you, pal? Good morning. Welcome back. And I'm sorry, Joaquin, I'm sorry I didn't get to you at the end of the show last night. I apologize for that. I'm sorry.
Well, did you just pick me up?
Yes, sir. I just picked you up. You're way over my head.
No, because the call dropped out and it was actually ringing.
Yeah, no, but I'm saying last night. So I know you're on the air now, but I just wanted to say last night. Sorry I didn't get to you. Good evening. Good morning. Welcome back.
Please.
What's on your mind?
No apologies needed. Hey, TJ Mac, that was a good job.
Thank you, baby.
And you know something, as far as Keith goes,
yeah,
you could hear a lot of pain in his voice last night. Okay.
Yeah, he was broken.
And you know something, as people say, you should go to a meeting, and there might be another reference that maybe he might want to look into. Dr. Sky had a guest on a couple of weeks ago, Tyler Gray, a former Special Forces who was severely injured. And he has a book, Forged in Chaos. And he talks, he's trying to work with people who have addiction issues. And he says a lot of times it comes from pain, actually, from when you were younger, from not feeling adequate, to having been marginalized.
Right.
And it might be worthwhile to look at. And I even know from my own experience, because, I was an alcoholic, and I almost killed myself drinking, actually.
Jesus.
When my life fell apart back in December. I've been deteriorating. And then I couldn't go to work anymore, and everything I had planned for, I can't do anymore because I'm physically in that bad of shape actually right now. But anyway, so heads up. try and keep your head up, and it's really hard. And the only thing I noticed, maybe he might need to go to rehab. I wound up. They sent me to the hospital, and they told my wife, "You have no idea how close he came to dying." my blood alcohol was so high, and I guess they said I was borderline liver shutting down, kidney shutting down.
That's an ugly way to go.
Yeah, no, it would have been pleasant. I was in serious physical pain. I was drinking to kill the pain. Except once I couldn't work anymore, I just, I sat down, started drinking, and didn't stop.
Yeah.
But anyway, long and the short. But when I was in rehab, there are some guys that really find a lot of, strength in AA and NA, and for some of them it becomes the purpose. But somehow you need to find something that, I know that your children are important, but you need to find something that actually makes you feel, accomplished.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Yeah. Yeah. And again, you can't, you have to do it. Again, some things are cliches. And in this case, it's a bit of a cliche, but it applies. You have to do it for yourself because ultimately,
right.
yeah.
I mean, you need to find something within yourself that you could actually, in other words, take on and do and say, I accomplished, something,
Yeah. Well, one thing you can do is save your own life. And it sounds like you did. And, I know my wife helped me save my life when she kicked me out of the house and I ended up in rehab. But
I will have to say rehab did help. Rehab definitely did make a difference.
Oh, it makes it. Yeah, so. Absolutely. Thank you, Joaquin. As always, thank you very much. Let's see. Carol in Manhattan. Hello there, Carol. Good morning.
Hey, very, very appreciative. I think you're doing a great job.
Thank you.
DJ.
Thank you.
Listen, I just want to tell you something. As a Jew,
yes, ma'am,
and somebody who I understand my friends in the Jewish community, but I am a fervent Trump supporter. Mm-hmm. I vote Republican, but I am telling you this right now. Mm-hmm. There are so many of my friends and people who will not vote Republican. Why? It's in our blood. It goes back to the Bolshevik Revolution. It goes back to my parents coming here as immigrants, and, Democrats picked up where the Marxists left off. I'm trying to tell you that Curtis is the best man for the job, but to have these people vote R, anything with an R, they're not going to do it. And this is why I am really, really afraid that Mondami's going to get in. Now, unfortunately, I think the scenario is if Curtis dropped out, even though he's the best qualified, and Cuomo dropped out, they would at least vote for an independent. And the independent, as you know, is Adams. And I'm telling you, there are people who will not pull the lever, quote unquote, with an R next to it. And it doesn't matter how qualified. Curtis is the man. Yeah. And so how do you go up against this? How do you tell Curtis that? Because I really feel. Are you saying, Carol,
that they would vote for the anti-Semite, or would they, or would they? Is there a chance that they might? Is there a chance they might sit it out?
Yes, that's exactly what I'm saying.
See, that's what we got to do.
See, that's the problem. If they sit it, look, they may sit it out, all right, but you're still slicing up the pie.
Oh, the pie is a pain in the ass. It's getting there's a lot of slices. Yeah, I know.
Right, but I'm telling we have to look. The objective here, as much as I love Curtis, and I really do.
Yeah, me too.
The objective here is to get this Mondami guy out, and perhaps I'm just saying the most selfless thing, if it pans out this way, that Curtis could do for the city would be, as we hear in the press, for maybe Trump to offer him a job in the administration, do something in that way, get him out. I hate to say it, and keep Adams in office. I am talking about the number of people that I know and that I read. I read all kinds of press things. They will never vote Republican. You'd have to run them over with a train. And my family's like that, except for me. Because I'm using my brain.
Yeah. No, Carol, first of all, it's nice to talk to you for the first time. Thank you so much for calling over. Thank you for the kind words. I'm grateful that you're there, and I'm grateful that you like how we're doing this. So thank you.
Listen, I think that I met Mr. Catsimatidis last week in person, and I told him I thought the station was doing a wonderful job.
Oh,
I'm in your business. I can't say where I work, but
Gotcha.
But I just had to tell you that, you're pumping away for Curtis, and I'm saying yes, Curtis, but I am telling you the same thing that I think Dominic Carter is saying.
Yeah.
It's a Democratic city, and what does that mean? It's not only Jewish Democratic voters.
Yeah.
It's also other ethnic groups that go, I have to vote. It's almost a religious right that you must vote Democratic, and that is what I'm trying to tell you. I got out of it a long time ago.
Sure.
I saw my family, and I'm going, what are you, crazy? I mean, that was 50 years ago. I understand why the family didn't vote Republican. They hated Jews, country clubs. But you got to think for yourself that people really, really feel in certain communities other than mine, and I'm not going to go into which ones, you got to vote for the Democrat. And so what do you do? Well, they won't vote for the Republican, but they just might vote for the independent if they feel that Mondami, because he is so reprehensible. Yeah. This is inconceivable.
It's inconceivable. It's disqualifying. I think just as simple as you cannot have an anti-Semite as the mayor of New York City. This is the same. You can't have him in the same office that once held by Ed Koch. You just simply cannot do that. Not in this great city of wonderful millions of Jewish people. It just can't be. It just can't happen. Thank you, Carol. Thank you so much. And thank you again for the kind words. Really, I'm very grateful for that. Everybody, this is Another Side of Midnight here on 77 WABC. I'm TJ McCormack, and we are talking about New York City. And the politics is still folding into it because we're talking about a great city that we're hoping stays great and kind of gets back to being like really truly great. And that means we have to, avoid all sorts of attacks on this city, including from within, with like a Trojan. I mean, it's not even a Trojan horse, Mamdani. The guy's not there's nothing hidden here. When we come back from this break, I'm going to crack open this book for you guys, and I'm going to dip back into the 60s. I'm going to give you a few examples. I'm just going to sort of through the book here. I'll just thumb through it. And, again, Hart's Guide to New York City. It's a treasured possession of mine. It's a travel guide from 1965. And it talks about every single thing you can do in New York City. It's it's like it's 1,300 pages long. It's like this guy, Harry Hart, I think was his name. And he had a team of like 15 people, and they would fan out literally around the city and review just about every hotel, just about every major restaurant, nightclubs, bars. It's unreal what this thing is. And you can look at, and it's like watching, it's sort of like the backdrop for Mad Men. It's like if you watch Mad Men, or if you are lucky enough to be old enough to know this New York City from the 60s. But this is what was going on, and this was the backdrop. This was the actual backdrop. This sort of city that literally stayed open all night. There's references in here to beauty salons that were open, 24 hours a day. And these men's hairstylists are until 2 a.m. And the big draw was there was a telephone at every chair. Fascinating. I love it. Anyway, 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-WABC. When we come back, we'll talk to Maddie. We'll talk to Matt, Pete, Angie in Ohio. I want to talk about Mamdani as well. This is Another Side of Midnight on 77 WABC.
It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
Tell me this does not sound like a great Chateau Madrid. Okay, so this is one of these places that you could go into. Listen to these hours. Okay, I literally just flipped open the book. This is page 880. By the way, I'm TJ McCormick. This is Another Side of Midnight on 77 WABC. And we're talking about New York City. We're talking about the mayor's race, and we're also kind of just nosing around and trying to remember when New York City was in fact great. It's always had its bumps and bruises. It's always had its underbelly. It's always had its warts and moles and runny noses and Needle Park and all that. But there was a time when you could go to Chateau Madrid. Shows, live music, singers, floor shows, dancers. On a Sunday, you could go catch a show at a place called the Chateau Madrid. Here's the description. A fire with passion and pachanga. The Chateau Madrid scores as the smartest watering hole on the Castanets circuit. Palms surround a dance floor where the international clientele stylishly do the rumba, the cha-cha-cha, the tango, and the mambo. The virtuosity displayed here is so outstanding that it provides spectator sport for the few sedentary patrons. The kitchen is open until like 2 a.m. They make okay. So there was a time in New York City where you could go to a place on 58th Street between 5th and 6th and catch a floor show and dance to a live band until 2 o'clock in the morning on a Sunday. And then you could tiptoe over around the corner to Jilly's. I call people Pally every now and then. I like to throw back to a better day and time. But Jilly's over there on West 52nd Street, the building's still there. I've walked past it a few times. But I mean, that place open till 3 a.m., open at 4 a.m. on a Sunday. You could go to Jilly's and get ripped with Judy Garland until 4 a.m. on a Sunday. The House of Vienna, 79th Street between 1st and 2nd Avenue. Shows 9, 11, and 1 a.m. Monday through Saturday. You could catch a show. 3 shows, 9, 11, and 1 a.m. Monday through Saturday at a place called the House of Vienna. The show, approximately an hour long, features 2 singers of Hungarian, German, Gypsy, and Viennese melodies. Bring back the Viennese melodies. No more subway attacks. No more stabbings or random punches in the face. Viennese melodies. 1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-WABC. Maddie on Long Island, line 1. Good morning. Welcome to Another Side of Midnight. I'm TJ.
Hi, TJ, and welcome to WABC. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for the welcome. It means the world to me. I'm very blessed to be here. I'm grateful to Mr. Katsimatidis for the confidence.
So I've been listening to Curtis since the 90s when he was on with Curtis and Kubi.
Wow,
and he did the Battle of the talk show host.
Sure.
And I've been following him, and I've been an avid ABC listener for, since the 60s, I guess I want to say, with Cousin Brucey.
Wow.
Anyway, I heard your dissertation about Curtis and the streets and everything.
Yeah.
And nobody better be cooling down like you were playing in Summer in the City, and they better get a backbone, whether they be Jew, Christian, Muslim, black, white, yellow, green.
Mm-hmm.
They better be getting their back behind Curtis and get him in, because he is the only one that can actually fix things the way Trump fixed things, the way Giuliani fixed things, because he takes no prisoners. He stands up and he tells it like it is. So all I have to say is that everybody out there listening in the WABC, New York City land, or anybody that has the opportunity to vote, ought to get behind Curtis and get Adams out, because Adams didn't do anything for 3.5 years until he was saved.
Mm-hmm.
And all of a sudden, he decided, I better start, tooting the toot.
Yep.
Okay? And Como, he had his chance to be something, and he's nothing now.
He's a thug and a killer.
As far as Mandami, he's like, you know what? He has his own thinking, but it's not the thinking of the way America and New York City runs. Mm-hmm. So you woke me up in the middle of the night. I was sleeping when I heard your Curtis story.
Yeah.
And Curtis is the man. He needs to win. Everybody ought to get right behind him, and he ought to do his thing and get the city cleaned up. And then after he cleans it up once, he ought to clean it up a second time.
Yeah,
so,
it's gonna be a lather, rinse, repeat. That's what we got to do. We got to shampoo this city, and we're gonna have to repeat it.
Really?
Yeah.
I mean, I was around with Son of Sam.
Wow, sure.
Subways, and because I lived in Queens for a while, and I will tell you, it was scary times. And nothing compares to what's going on now. Now they got a Son and Sam on like every corner, every street. You can't walk around without having your eyes on all sides.
Yep.
And you need to be like an owl's head that turns 360 degrees.
Oh, Maddie, I come into the city on the rare occasion I come down. I live up in Westchester. I'll come down with my wife and my daughters. They're teenagers. I'm constantly, my head's on a swivel for either somebody coming at you to hurt you, to just swing a fist or a pipe at you. But also, I'm looking for protests. I'm looking for some crazy person driving their car up onto the sidewalk. You got to keep your head on the swivel. You never know when you have to make an escape from a scary situation. Maddie, I don't know. I really think it's only Curtis is going to save this. Only Curtis is invested.
Yeah, and he
this.
does. He knows every inch of that city like there's no tomorrow. Not only the city, he knows the boroughs. I mean, he's a street kid.
Yeah.
I mean, he just that's who he is. And
with a big heart.
The guardian angel has been an angelic group of people that have really stepped up. I mean, they put their lives on the line every single time that they go outside.
Yeah.
Every single time. And, at least they're smart enough to walk in groups, but, not everybody has the opportunity to do that.
Right.
I'm lucky. I live in Nassau County. I got Bruce Blakeman, running the county.
Yeah, and you got Ari Brown, and you got my earlier guest, Ari Brown, as your assemblyman, so he's up there fighting a good fight. Maddie, thank you so much. You are like WABC royalty, so thank you very much for the welcome.
Well, thank you so much. And, I go back to Lynn Samuels.
Oh, wow, me too.
That whole time period. And, we used to have Chinese food and Lynn Samuels for dinner on Sunday night.
Oh my God,
he was. They all of them.
Well, it's an honor to be in this legacy.
No offense
in
to
this
John,
legacy.
I love him. I think he did a ship shop shape with WABC. But he's got to get behind Curtis. I know he's got to think to Adams and everything. I hear him every day.
Yeah.
But he's got to flip the switch. He's just,
I hear you.
John, I love you if you're listening. But, honestly, him and Margot did, they all did, everybody. And Sid Rosenberg. I'm not going to hang up without mentioning him every morning.
He's the king.
I wake up with him every morning. In fact, my phone is on all night long, so I'm always, I'm like, I'm a WABC person, so I listen to Greg Kelly, Dominic.
Yeah.
And everybody.
Well,
I mean,
Maddie, to get a compliment from you means the absolute world. Thank you, love. Thank you very much. And don't be a stranger. Please, always let me know how I'm doing. If I need to tighten up a screw, I'm sure you'll let me know. All right. Everybody. Here, you know what? Really quick before we go to break, let's do this one. Now this is not necessarily a golden age, but it's a great time in New York. And this is another earworm. You guys gotta let me know right away how quickly you're gonna recognize this audio. Hit me with number 3.
You're invited to my son's 21st birthday party. Good food, good people. Our neighbor, Bonnie.
Am I weird? Nah.
A genius, son, Hirsch. Take human bites. My honey, Lucille.
I'm not hungry. I'll just pick.
You guys remember this?
From Harvard and his lovely
I'm on to
sister.
you. Happy birthday.
And a guest of honor, my Ivy League son. It's going to be some party. Gemini on Broadway.
Danny Aiello. Gemini. Remember that? Remember that commercial for the off-Broadway show Gemini? A young Danny Aiello. And all of those, and that thing would come on like in the middle. These are some of the things that you would see if you were homesick from school. If you were homesick from school and you'd watch something like, you'd watch Hazel, about the housekeeper. Remember Hazel? And you'd watch The Price is Right, and you'd have chicken soup and all that stuff. And these commercials and Apex Tech. Remember the commercials for Apex Tech? Now, I can't pick up the phone and call you. Remember that guy? Growing up in New York was a truly unique experience. And, you know, it's worth doing right by her and our memories. All right. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to talk to Angie and Tony and Pete and Matt. And at 4:00, we're going to do our usual thing, and we'll be here with Fred Rubino is back in the building, and he brought a whole big bag of energy with him. So Fred Rubino will be joining us in the 4:00 hour. We're going to have some fun with Fred, and your phone calls continuing. 1-800-848-9222. This is Another Side of Midnight with me, TJ McCormick, here on Blessedly, thank you God, 77 WABC. We'll be right back.
We need New York back, and we're going to take New York back, and I'm going to tell every New York voter, I'm going to tell every single one of them, you better vote the right way if you want New York to be safe again. And our subways, would you allow your kids in your subways? No, I wouldn't.
If you've got a good trade, chances are you've already got a good job. If you haven't, better get one. Auto mechanic. Now there's a good trade. At Apex Tech, we've got a 6-month training program for auto mechanics. It's thorough because we work you hard. With a professional mechanic working alongside you, you tear down an engine and put it back together again, and do the same with the transmission. Carburetors, fuel injection, computer command control, electrical chassis, alignment, brakes, steering.
Remember the guy who wore the jumpsuit?
When you complete your training, and we recommend you for a job, you've got your own set of professional tools.
Professional tools.
Give us a call. Say when you can come in to look over the shops and see what financial assistance towards your training you're entitled to from the government.
Bald guy had a mustache.
I can't phone you. You have to take
there
the
he goes. Now I can't call you.
Call 645-3300.
The Rat Fink Room was 150, right around the corner. It was right around the corner. 151 East 50th Street. 151 East 50th, between Lexington and 3rd. The Rat Fink Room had to be in one of the hotels. This place had shows at 10 and 12:45 Monday through Friday, 9:30, midnight, and 2 a.m. on a Saturday. And this was a place with comedy and music, and again, until 2:30 in the morning. New York City used to literally be the city that doesn't sleep. Now it takes a nap between like 1 a.m. and 4. And then it comes back. What's this one? The Red Onion. That's famous. That was up on 2nd Avenue in the 80s. Up there near where now I think the comic strip has been, and up that way. The Round Table, the Royal Box. So many jokes, so little time. The Royal Box at the Americana Hotel, 7th and 50th. Sammy's Bowery Follies. You could go to see a show on the Bowery. Now the show is on the Bowery. That kind of cleaned up a little bit, though. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, and hello and goodbye. Hi, I'm TJ McCormick. This is Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormick on 77 WABC. 1-800-848-9222. We're talking about New York City, the good old days. And I think the whole impetus for that is because we're talking about why it's important to save it, and why we cannot, on this precipice, on this of disaster, on this slippery slope, to allow a guy like Mamdani to come in and literally throw dirt on the coffin. this would be it. New York City really, yes, it's one of this world's great cities, but it's not great right now. And we're kind of remembering days when it really was like glitzy and glamorous. And, back when, you could take your girlfriend through the back entrance at the Copacabana and get a table up front and sit with and sit with mobsters and watch Bobby Vinton sing Roses Are Red. I know that's a movie, but those are the scenes that you make movies of, and that was New York City. There was a glamorous, glorious time in New York. And it wasn't just nightclubs, man. It was 24-hour, hair salons and great clothing stores. Fifth Avenue just full of wonderful haberdasheries and, I don't know. Let's get over to Angie in Ohio. Angie, good morning. Welcome to Another Side of Midnight with TJ. Hi.
Hi, good morning, TJ. How are you? Listen, as a fellow person in recovery,
yes.
For 24 going on 25 years, uninterrupted. Yes. Anyway, listen, I always say sharing lightens the load, and also talking will save your life. And things you don't talk about, you're destined to repeat. Let's use that as a segue and go to the mayor's race.
Yes.
Now, in recovery, we're supposed to be honest to our innermost self.
Yes.
And I think the reality of this race is, do you want what's best for New York? And I think people do need to know what's best for New York, and it's not someone who's going to discriminate. And this whole business of this guy, who's just, I think that he's being marketed to the Democratic Socialists and the people who are young with they feel they have a different view, but do they really know what this guy is?
Right.
And the thing is that I wish that the press were more candid in showing people that this guy is really not what he professes to be.
Yeah.
And he was involved in the Egyptian, wasn't it the Muslim Spring or what was that?
The Muslim Spring, the uprising in Egypt, yeah.
Right. And does he have naturalization papers? That's the other thing, too.
That's starting to percolate a little bit. I tell you what, Angie, it is definitely percolating. People are definitely digging because they see that this is like suddenly a serious situation. And so people are turning over literally every stone. And that is something that's coming up is people are wondering, is this guy actually naturalized? Is he actually a U.S. citizen? I don't know. It's interesting. We'll have to see.
Anyway,
yeah.
I don't know. I don't really, I'm not from there. We see a lot of it here, and I know it's, for the podunk town that I'm in Ohio, where they eat dogs and cats. No, I'm kidding. I don't know if they do or not. But anyway, how horrible. The thing is that they're even speaking about it here. Because I know in our government here, a lot of these progressive, people that are in charge as city manager, mayor, whatnot, and they can hide behind Republican, Democrat. I think it's the integrity of the individual, and not a lot of people have integrity any longer.
It is definitely a something that you don't really see. Integrity, intellectual honesty. You just look for that credibility in your elected officials, and there's too many politicians and not enough elected officials. If that makes any sense.
You should run for office anyway.
Hey, Ange, you're in Ohio. Have you ever been to Akron to see where the first meetings were held, where Bill and Dr. Bob?
Yes, I have. And you know what? Unfortunately, I'm a work slave, so I don't get up there too often. But it's an interesting history.
Yes. AA is
dating like the Oxford group. I have some old books that predated the Oxford group. I had the unfortunate, or fortunate, depending, fortunate or unfortunate way of getting sober via the court system.
Oh, okay. All right.
And it was funny. I almost got violated on federal probation. I had a bad probation officer. There was a guy who said, he goes, I'm an alcoholic and my problem is Stan at a meeting. And I was so sick of hearing him. I was like, no, you're an alcoholic. Stop doing that. Anyway, I introduced myself. I said, hi, my name is Angie. My problem is Stan. Not knowing my probation officer was there at the meeting, guess who got called up for violation? Yeah. So it was funny, but it didn't happen. But it was pretty bad. But recovery is just the same as everything else, I think, in life, and it forces us to live in the now.
Indeed. The Power of Now, Eckhart Tolle, right? That's one of our books, and
anyway, I have to get to work.
Go to work, Angie. Stop talking to me. Okay. But don't be a stranger. Call back again, okay? Bye-bye. One day at a time. Trudge on, lady. Trudge on. All right. It is 3:58 here on a beautiful Sunday morning on 77 WABC. My name is TJ McCormick. This is Another Side of Midnight. We're talking about everything. This is exactly what this show is supposed to be. This is exactly what we're supposed to be doing. A little bit of music. Yeah. Energy. We talk about all things. We kind of go off the beaten path. We talk about the good old days. I'm going to bring this book back in often. I'm going to throw a couple of these at Fred Rubino as well. And that is our guy. He's coming along in just a few minutes after the top of the hour. 'Cause it's so exciting. And it's so inviting. All right. Stay right there, everyone, including everybody hanging on the phones. We'll talk to you in the next hour. Please stay there. Another Side of Midnight, TJ McCormick, 77 WABC, 1-800-848-9222. We shall talk to you when we come back with Freddie Rubino. Toodaloo.
This is Another Side of Midnight
with TJ McCormack.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
On Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormick. Here on 77 WABC, and it's 4:05 in the morning on a Sunday morning, and we've just got energy coming out of our ears. That's why we wear the headphones, to keep the energy inside our heads. And so we can hear things too. And, there you go. So it's been a great show. I gotta say, I'm sitting here with our buddy, Freddie Rubino. Fred Rubino is back. Welcome, buddy.
Thank you for having me back.
Okay.
It's been a little bit of a long night. Just got back from a show. So, hanging out with other comics. We were talking politics. And the more drinks comics have, the more we mispronounce names. Zoran Mamdani.
Yeah.
It just, it starts out Zoran Mamdani, what a piece of garbage, this and that. Then it turns into Lauren's memories and...
Thanks for the memories.
It ended up as sold a van to your mammy.
Sold a van to your mammy. The Irish travelers in the family sold
After 5 drinks, that's what he became.
That's funny. Look, only until tonight that I finally stopped. As recently as yesterday morning was I saying Zamdani. I was combining the first. I really was. And finally this morning it clicked, and I finally got Mamdani. You just got to keep saying it. And it's almost like Beetlejuice. You say it 3 or 4 times, and all of a sudden there's going to be an anti-Semite with a beard in your radio studio. At 4:06, we're joined here on the corner of 49th and 3rd, in the studios of 77 WABC by Fred Rubino. Whenever he can, he makes it in, for the 4:00 hour. And, we have a good, it's been a great show. I just want to thank you guys. The whole family, the early morning bunch, have been, en fuego for the last 2 days. Yesterday, this morning, the shows have been so good. The calls and the topics and the compliments and the constructive criticisms and just everything, everybody coming together like a family does. So it's been fantastic, and it's been fun, and we've been covering a lot of ground. Nothing typical. And that's, pretty much sets the table perfectly for Fred's, usual time with us, where we, take apart, some looks at the news, and we've also still got some callers on the line, so we'll make sure we get to everybody. And even I had a thing or two that I wanted to bring up, during Fred's segment to Fred and, bounce off him. But, first things first, I saw this, Fred, I think it was, it might have been this afternoon or yesterday afternoon, Saturday afternoon, after I crashed out from doing the show yesterday. And it was, DeSantis in Florida talking about his answer to like, okay, you really want to hold on to your ICE appointments? You really want to make sure these guys are not getaways? He says, well, I've got the facility for you. It's an immigration detention facility in the Everglades.
Nice.
Is okay? So what? It's mosquitoes and snakes.
But they named it a certain name.
What's that?
They called it Alligator Alcatraz.
Perfect.
And I actually honeymooned there. I got a very good deal. It was, it sounds like a great vacation spot because, when you go away with your wife, it's not just a vacation. You have to get up. You finally made it. You're taking the sun. You're in your Bermuda shorts. You have a drink. No, let's get up. Let's go shopping.
Right.
This place, there's no shopping. You're there. You stay. I would go. I would, if I got a good deal.
This sounds like a vacation for you is what you're saying.
Yes. And by the way, there's no reason to sensationalize the name.
Right.
Alcatraz.
Right.
Okay. I get it. Surrounded by snakes. There's alligators. There's mosquitoes. Just call it Florida.
See, I was going to say, as you're describing that, you just said you're wearing your Bermuda shorts, you're getting some sun. That's actually life for you, because when you're not in Jersey and when you're not in the New York metropolitan area working, you also have a place in Florida. Fred has several homes. God bless him. But anyway, you spend a lot of time in Florida. I know you have family in Florida. So what do you do for vacation? Like, what do you,
That's a good question.
Right? You live in Bermuda shorts. You live in the sun. You can probably hear the screams from the rides at Disney where you live. What do you do? Where do you go? Do you go to work? I mean,
No.
when you go to vacation, do you go to a factory somewhere?
We go to Newark, New Jersey, downtown. We just ride the bus all day.
See, there you go. That's a vacation. I put on a suit and tie. I check in at an office.
I just go to a work site. I start digging. It's a great life that I have that I could do that. I love the beach, but I like Florida. But I think since people don't know what Florida is. Oh, alligators, snakes, and mosquitoes. That's Florida.
Yeah.
Just say the places in Florida.
That's all.
The rest is, and by the way, it's only 40 miles west of Miami.
Right. Yeah. Well, because the Everglades are like right there. The Everglades basically abut most of Broward and Dade counties.
So I don't know about butting, but I don't know what parts of Miami you go to.
You leave Miami out of it.
But
Forget Miami. How about your Miami?
It's one of the greatest places to vacation for less than an hour drive. So, what do these people want? And by the way, it's not going to be scary for everyone. Not too long ago, those Haitians,
right?
They're eating the dogs,
right?
They're eating the dogs. They're eating the cats, alligators, and snakes.
Yeah.
Not that bad.
Right. Yeah, no, it's more like like an exotic buffet for them.
Yeah, it's like Golden Corral.
Exactly.
And by the way, have you been to an Asian market lately?
Not a wet one. Not a wet market, certainly.
Go down to Canal Street.
Right.
And you'll see things you've never seen before.
You know what freaks me out is you ever see, the buckets with the little turtles in them?
Yeah.
That to me,
frogs,
that's just disease. That's just right there. No wonder we had COVID from there. I almost cursed. No wonder we had COVID coming out of a situation like that. Down on Canal Street, you walk through Chinatown, and again, I just get freaked out when I see that. I just look at them and I go, you're going to at least get warts from that little turtle. You're going to at least get some sort of a thing from that, like an irritation from
I
that
got
turtle.
that from an Asian massage parlor. There was an irritation.
From your wife when she's okay.
These Asian markets, there's eels.
Yes.
There's not only frogs.
Right.
In the next bucket, there's tadpoles.
Yeah.
It's like veal. It's the veal of frogs. Let me tell you,
funny.
Get 20 Asians break out of that Alcatraz.
Right.
You'll find them a month later 40 pounds overweight.
Right.
They'll be like, we're not going anywhere.
Right. Full of alligators, mosquitoes, pythons. Yes, exactly.
They'll be the new breed of alligator, sesame alligator.
Oh my God. Let's enjoy a moment with Tony on line 4. Tony in Manhattan, you've been waiting for like 3 weeks. Thank you for hanging in there. Good morning, Tony.
Good morning. It's worth it. When I came from San Juan in 1962
yes,
on vacation, I told my brother, I go back. I'm stay here in Manhattan, still living here since 1962. Now, the clubs.
Yes, the clubs.
The Palladium.
Right.
The Latin Quarters.
Yep.
You have dancing all over. You have your hand can count all the places to enjoy in Manhattan.
Yep.
And believe me, it was like a dream.
I'm looking at it right now. The Latin Quarter was on West 48th Street, right, Tony?
Yes, sir.
And they called it the Las Vegas on the Hudson. They said the shows are lavish. The girls may not all be gorgeous, but there's one guy named Tony who shows up, and he's a handsome devil. But it says, they would have, so Tony, it says here that there were shows at 8:30 and 12:30. Listen to this, Fred.
Wow.
Talk about guys like you and me
Latin
missing.
Quarter. I had a Canadian quarter once.
Right. Don't you hate when those things show up in your pocket because they just don't work in the soda machine? 8:30 and 12:30, Sunday through Friday. You could. The concept of going to see a live show with a band and dancers and singers and comics at 8:30 and 12:30 on a midnight on a Sunday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday 7:30, 10, and midnight.
This is why Ricky Ricardo was never home with Lucy, and she got into so much trouble.
Fred.
That was the Copa.
Yeah, I'm sorry, Tony.
Hello?
Yeah, Tony, go ahead, buddy. I'm sorry. I totally interrupted you.
No, it's okay. I was talking to my wife.
Oh.
We have so much joy, and the thing is, you can have $20 in your pocket.
Yeah.
You are dressed up. If you are not dressed up, you don't come to those places. And believe me, you can take a taxi or walk at 3 o'clock in the morning, and then you have all the restaurant in your life to eat.
Do you know what?
COVID changed that.
I tell you what, not only COVID, but just the death and destruction all around. Tony makes a good point. I've been trying to figure out, as I'm thinking, what is it that, it's not like the usual answer. Oh, social media killed that. Or I think, you know what? It's true. Just the idea that you could literally walk out of a club at midnight and then walk down the street looking nice, looking with your girlfriend on your arm or your wife on your arm, and nice and dressed up with money in your pocket, and go then to Jilly's or go over to some other nice bar, go to the Jockey Club or go to 21, and you're not worried that you're going to get knocked over. You probably saw cops everywhere too, right, Tony?
Let me say something.
Yes.
I used to work in McBurney YMCA, 7th Avenue, 23rd Street.
Right.
And from there, I just stop and I go to 138 to the Cabo Rojeño Club. And you think you're going to find Puerto Rican girls and boys? No. Greeks and Italian, my friend.
Wow.
Dancing the cha-cha-cha and the pachanga.
The cha-cha-cha and the pachanga. That's right. I just mentioned those dances. I'm telling you, Tony, so you came here in 1962.
Yes.
And so literally back then, so coming from San Juan, which is no slouch of a city, that's got a great nightlife too. Mm-hmm. But for a sexy Latin lover like Tony to come here, you probably went, oh my God, this is like, talk about a buffet. For a guy like Tony, you probably looked at this place and said, I'm home.
Let me tell you something.
Yeah, buddy.
Believe me, Curtis Lewa, no, because he called me, I call it Curtis Lewa. At night, they all know me, your audience.
Yes, I know you now. I know who you are, Tony.
They say the Boricua. You know why? Because when I came here, and I work in the YMCA, right?
Yes.
You can have like you say, walk all around.
Yeah.
And you have, I never want to go back to San Juan because everything was here too much. And then, if you don't like the city, you go to the Catskills. You remember, right?
To the Catskills, yes, of course.
Well, you have all kind of dancing.
Yep.
And believe me, like you say, I had $20 or $30 in my pocket. It was like a 2000 today.
You were out all night.
They don't touch you. I have my watch. I have everything and rings. And it was beautiful.
You ever hear of a place called El Quijote?
Of course.
It was on 23rd Street.
And La Casa, something there from Spain too.
Yeah.
We have all over here in downtown.
I love it. Tony, I love when you call up. This is a perfect night for you to call up. Thank you, sir. Thank you for calling. Hey.
How come the Puerto Ricans got that frog on their flag? Ever see that?
Yes, that's
Cokie.
Yeah, that's kind of like the.
I wish Tony was still on.
I know he'll call back. He'll be here next week. All right, so let's see. It is 4:18 here on a Sunday morning on another side of midnight. 77 WABC. TJ McCormick, joined by Fred Rubino, as we are every Sunday when he's available, and we are bringing you right up to the 5 a.m. news hour with Liz Radabali. And, and by the way, again, Keith, if you're out there from last night, Keith, everybody's, praying for you and hoping that you're well. So by all means, give her a jingle if you're, out there. Even if you're not feeling better, perhaps you better call if you're not feeling better, and it's okay. There's no harm in that. 1-800-848-9222. All right. So this was bugging me. I couldn't believe that it slipped from the top slot. That was ridiculous. That the Oreo, was, playing with its brand. I didn't like this, and yet they're doing it again. So the Oreo is bringing back, I don't know what fan whose favorite is a blueberry pie, blueberry pie flavored. Okay. So blueberry pie Oreo is coming back. What fan is this a favorite of? I have no idea.
I don't have any idea. By the way,
yes,
an Oreo is the exact cookie.
Yeah.
It's Nabisco makes cookies.
Yes.
The Oreo is the cookie. If you change it, it's not an Oreo anymore.
Right. It's right. It's an Oreo is the chocolate with it's not the kind of cookie. That's a sandwich cookie.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is science now.
Right, exactly. This is nomenclature. This is nomenclature.
An Oreo is a chocolate cookie that has so much dye in it that it's black.
Yes.
Like you can't get any more dye in there.
Right.
Until it'll disappear.
Yes.
You know? And it's got cream inside, and the cream is not really cream.
Nope.
It never gets bad. It never goes bad. And it never melts.
Ever.
You could have it on the beach.
Right.
Out there in foil.
Yep.
It's perfectly. That's an Oreo. Now, you can't call it an Oreo.
No.
If you change it, it's like having a ham sandwich.
Where did Chico Marx come from? If you change it. Where the hell did that come from?
I just came
Fred.
from
If you change it, what am I gonna do?
I turned it to Tony, the Boricua. I come from a San Juan, and there were no cookies in San Juan. That's why we came.
I'm sorry, I distracted you. Go on, Chico.
Well, I gotta say one thing. I gotta say one thing. I'm telling you right now.
All right.
You can tell a lot about someone.
Yeah.
On how they eat an Oreo. Now, I don't know if you've been to mental institutions. You look like you have.
I've been in rehab, so technically, yes.
Technically, yeah. All right.
Yes.
So I've had family and friends. And I've done rehab shows.
Oh, we love those.
Oh, yeah. They're all doubled over, everybody. Yeah. They throw knives at you. Like, all right.
Yeah.
But you can tell someone's mental state on how they react to an Oreo. And it was fascinating to me. Number one, if you have a package of Oreos and you just eat one, you're insane.
You're insane. As soon as you said that, I was like, nope, sorry, nuts. That person should not be in public.
And these are things that I've actually witnessed myself. If you eat the entire package, you're insane.
Right.
Because there's a lot.
That's a lot of cookies. That'd be nasty.
I've seen someone eat one after the other.
Right.
And then get
a row in the big,
you could run a row.
A row you could do.
You could run a row of Oreos and Fig Newtons. That's perfectly sane.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
If you eat the cream first, that's fine.
Okay.
But I've seen this, scrape the cream off and only eat the cookie,
and
you're insane.
That's insane. That's communist. That's Mamdani does. That's how Mamdani eats an Oreo.
That's right. It's just not right.
Nope.
Okay.
It's un-American.
If you eat more than 2 at a time, you're insane.
Like stacked?
Yeah.
No, that's too dense.
I saw a stack of 4.
Nah, I can't.
At a time.
That's not an Oreo experience.
No, it's not.
Nope.
That was insane. I actually hit the buzzer.
Yeah.
For the nurse when I saw the guy doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, so if you don't finish one.
No. No.
You're insane.
And again, just speaking as an alcoholic, that's like not finishing a drink. When an alcoholic like walks out of a restaurant and sees 2/3 of a gin and tonic, we walk past going, that person is nuts.
That's right.
What the hell is wrong with that person leaving all that gin and tonic?
It's offensive to people on Weight Watchers. It's offensive if you do that.
Right.
This is the worst one I've ever seen.
Okay.
If you put condiments on an Oreo, you're insane.
You've seen this?
This is what happened. I went to go visit a family member, and there's all protocols. So there are people in there that are insane.
Yes.
So the guy comes up to me, looks very nice. Nice kid. He was like 21. He says, Are those your cookies? I said, yeah. He goes, do you mind if I have one or two? I said, sure.
Yeah.
I remember the kid's name was Michael.
All right.
And I gave Michael one, and I see he goes into his room. The door was open, and he had a mustard packet and a mayonnaise packet. And he squeezed it on top, and he ate it. He ate 3 like that.
Mustard and ketchup? Or mayonnaise?
Mayonnaise.
Mustard and mayonnaise.
And then the nurse came up to me and said, you didn't give any of those to Michael, did you?
No, I did not.
Went, no, of course not.
Wait, what am I, nuts?
I know the protocol.
What am I, crazy? That's Fred Rubino here on Another Side of Midnight with me, TJ McCormick, on 77 WABC. I tell you what, there was, back when I drove a cab, my struggling artist job when I was a stand-up, when I was early days of stand-up, far from making a living doing comedy, I drove a taxi. I drove a cab in Westchester, White Plains Taxi I drove for. And I drove a few nights a week, and the rest of the other nights I did open mic nights and stuff. So I had one regular customer. It's a beautiful young woman. And it wasn't terribly uncommon to, if a girl got in a cab that was like, kind of in your age group, whatever, you might be a little spark. I was a funny guy.
Small talk.
Flirting, small talk.
Schmoozing.
I was funny. And,
the old McCormick charm.
The old McCormick charm. Olive oil voice and guinea charm.
You made me look ridiculous.
And a man in my position we did this the last time you were here. Anyway, so we end up never really dating, but we have a great relationship. She was a regular customer. I picked her up every day to choose a teacher to take her to her job she was like a tutor in the afternoons.
She was beautiful and she wanted nothing to do with you.
Beautiful
Why
girl.
don't you just say what happened?
No, she's gorgeous. She's great. So I went one time she stopped calling. One day she didn't call, but I figured there was something so I just went to the usual pickup. She was a regular, 3:30 in the afternoon pickup. And she doesn't come out. And I waited for a while, and eventually I took off. And then the next day I went back, and I went back again, and her sister comes out and she says, she's not here. She's at, New York Hospital in White Plains. She's checked in. She's not well. She's bad. She tried to hurt herself.
Oh my God.
So a few days later, I go And I,
really
a couple of
pressing this.
Well, we did have like a really cool, like intellectual relationship, and I really liked her a lot. And I had never known anybody to try to hurt themselves like that. And so,
what do you mean an intellectual?
We did. Well, I'm saying
she had big breasts.
We were dating. And oh my God. Anyway, so I went once I realized that it was okay. Her sister said, you can go visit her. She's seeing visitor and she'd like to see you. So I went and I'm sitting there. And as we're talking, and cause she had a good sense of humor, I like to think. So, I mean, she had bandages and it was really kind of heavy stuff.
Yeah.
But we're talking in the visiting room. And she said to me, and at one point I said, so who else, like who's in here? I said, and she says, well, there's people eating disorders and there's stuff over there. And she goes and there's suicidal people like myself. And I said, are there people who are homicide? And I said, did it ever occur to the homicidal people to go and hang out with the suicidal people? I said, that sounds like a match made in heaven.
Cutting out the middleman.
Yeah. And thank God she got the joke.
Right.
I went out on a limb.
Yeah.
And I got a big laugh.
You were killing.
I killed.
So you went to visit this poor woman who tried to kill herself, and you did a bit.
And I worked out some material. I worked on some material.
I just did with Michael.
I ad-libbed. Exactly. You see how this works? We're comparing mental institution visitation notes.
I saw people I grew up with, like I haven't seen in a while.
Unexpectedly?
Yeah, and they would just come down and I would see them and go, hey! And I seen 3 people I grew up with on different visits.
When you went to visit family?
Yes. And they would be like, the first thing they said was, I don't belong here. And I was like, I don't know that. But a lot of times what happens is you do something bad in the neighborhood or you get caught with like very high.
Uh-huh.
The judge will say 30 days.
Oh, in the drunk tank or whatever. Or in the psych ward.
Right. And that's why a lot of my friends were in there. Oh. It was like a reunion. It was nice. We threw in for a pizza. It was.
Which is what you do.
Good times.
What you do at the Italian psych ward.
Let's get something. Let's order something.
1-800-848-9222. 1-800-848-9222 WABC. It's Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormick here on 77 WABC. Go on over to @TJ McCormick on Twitter. Say hi. And, it's 4:30, so we're going to take a quick break, bottom of the hour. Fred Rubino is with us, as he is when he's available. He comes in on a Sunday morning, and we're having a lot of fun. So stay right there. Come back with me and Fred, and we still got a couple of people on the phone. We can say hi to them, too. And I've got actually 1 or 2 things I was going to bounce off of Fred, my own stuff. All right, friends, stay right there. 1-800-848-9222. We shall return.
It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist T.J. McCormick.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's T.J. McCormick.
I met Gene Simmons. It's funny. It was what a Hollywood name dropping story. I met Gene Simmons and Shannon Tweed at a party at what's Roseanne Barr's ex? What's it?
Tom Arnold.
Tom Arnold's house. Tom Arnold had a party, and Gene was there with.
How does Tom Arnold get Gene Simmons to come to his party?
There was a time
where he was the man.
When Tom Arnold called,
come on.
And people say, "Hey, I went." Good morning.
That just shows you money gets you hot chicks. Gene Simmons is an ugly man.
I tell you what, and a former rabbinical student. He was going to be a rabbi.
Wow.
And a Republican. A guy's a conservative.
He is.
Yeah, I love that. 4:36 here on Another Side of Midnight. My name is TJ McCormick. It's Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormick. And we are joined by Fred Rubino. And if you're going to be in the Naples area, Naples, Florida, this Tuesday and Wednesday, is
Correct.
it? Tuesday, Wednesday night. Fred's going to be at the Off the Hook Comedy Club. Off the Hook Comedy Club in Naples. 2 nights. You can go see him live if you're gonna be there, if you're on your way there, if you're listening to us in Naples. I know 77, especially this time of the morning, carries all the way down there. So,
and it's like 2 in the afternoon now down there.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, with the time difference, it's 2 in the afternoon on Monday. So, hello to all of our foreign listeners in Florida. 1-800-848-9222. We're talking about some, the lighter side of some of the news here. And, something that, Fred brought to our attention here is that in Popular Mechanics, I like this, Popular Mechanics reports that scientists have discovered, this is funny, I love this one, basically 2-line setup for this conversation. Scientists have discovered a new blood type, and it turns out only one person on Earth has it.
That's why this story had to come out quick, because once he dies, it's not even a story anymore. That blood type's gone.
What is the blood type? What is this story about? Tell me about that. This is actually fascinating and funny at the same time.
Yeah, they found a new, I think, as our technology grows, we find that there are a lot of slightly different blood types. It's not like the 4 that we think. So this guy's got the only one.
Oh, okay. So it's like an AI thing. AI is kind of seeing little slight variations in the 4 basic.
I think, but you know what? What a bad luck day. You know, you go to donate blood. You ever donate blood?
Once. I hated it. I'd never do it again. I'm selfish.
I've done it. I've done it many times because when I went to apprenticeship school, you got to donate blood, you get out one day early.
Oh my God.
And you're like, yeah, and everybody went. So,
okay.
But you feel good that day.
Mm-hmm.
You feel better than other people. You get the little pin. It's like a drop of blood.
Right.
And you look down on the other people.
Right.
Look at these selfish, I gave blood.
Right.
It's a good feeling day. All of a sudden you get there and the guy goes, you know, you have the rarest blood. No one else has it.
Right.
But what are you taking it for?
Right.
So now you have to, wherever you go, you have to carry your own blood with you.
Mm-hmm.
That's creepy.
It is.
Because how are you going to get blood? What happens?
Donating to yourself. I don't know if is that legal?
Yeah, you
I wonder
have to
if there
store
are
it.
tax implications for donating to yourself.
You become this creepy blood guy that's walking around with his. It's like Chuck Schumer creepy. Yeah.
That's creepy.
That's creepy.
That's creepy.
And what makes this so disturbing to me is that it's a breaking medical news from Popular Mechanics.
I was going to say, by the way, this is medical news in Popular Mechanics. That was not lost on me.
No, I'd feel a lot better if it was from the New England Journal of Medicine.
Yes, or like the Harvard Lancet journal or something like that. Yeah, exactly.
Well, how did this filter into? I don't understand it, and it's a disturbing thing because it's like next you'll hear like, yeah, I got my pacemaker at AutoZone, my diabetes medication. It's right next to the transmission fluid. What's going on in this country?
It's you know what? Everybody's fighting for content. Clearly, everybody's fighting for content.
Popular Mechanics.
Hey, so listen, I thought for sure when you were coming in this time, when Fred Rubino was going to join us here on Another Side of Midnight, I thought for sure you were going to be bringing in this story about this kid on the Jersey Shore who got impaled. Did you hear that about the lifeguard?
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
The kid, I mean, she was like, she's this cute kid, curly hair.
Oh, I didn't see the picture.
Fresh-faced.
Fresh-faced kid out of Iowa.
Yeah. Or Rahway.
Or Newark.
Yeah. Yeah, this is the kid right here. And she's holding the piece of the umbrella. So what happened was.
How far in?
All the way through.
Whoa.
All the way through. So gang, yeah, this kid
what part of her body?
Her shoulder. So I got to admit, when I heard it was the shoulder, I was like, well, it's not like the cartoonish, like it went through her midsection and she's like, ugh.
Right.
Okay. Still, impaled.
Impaled is impaled.
Impaled is impaled. Absolutely. There's no, it's like a little bit pregnant. It's not like a little bit impaled. It's like, But no, she was standing on the lifeguard chair.
Which is high.
And this umbrella just came, it caught wind and it just foom, and it went right through her shoulder. And right away too, it's funny too, I was thinking, I was like, oh my God, the sand getting into, for the next 3 years, I'd be walking around going, I know there's sand in me. I know they didn't get all that sand out. I know it. I mean, cause I feel every grain that's in my shoes. And, but anyway, the kid was
this in Popular Mechanics too?
I was just gonna say, this was, so the kid can't, and she's, of course, I can't wait to get back to work.
What an idiot.
Right?
If she's not Italian.
She only gives her first name, right. Alex.
Alex?
Yeah, and they said that she got a few stitches.
Lawyer up.
Right? Oh, yeah. You're going to you sue the beach.
You sue every grain of
sue
sand.
The beach. And this was, and let's see, what town? It was Jersey Shore. I want to say Asbury. Yep. Asbury Park. Sue Springsteen.
She isn't the first person to be impaled in Asbury Park.
You did a wonderful job with that.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations.
Under the boardwalk, there's impalings going on all weekend.
Summer loving. That, I swear to God, that was so well done. Nicely done in a very Jersey way.
Well, I try.
I tell you what.
Now, you sure that she wasn't trying to steal it?
Oh, that's one way to get yourself a free umbrella, right?
You had one job.
Yeah.
Just look out into the water.
That's all.
It's the easiest job in the world.
Really.
You don't even have to save anyone.
Right. Not really.
Quit at that time.
Exactly.
Or I didn't see him.
Mm-hmm.
You got impaled by an umbrella.
Unbelievable.
You failed. You're the worst.
You're the worst lifeguard. Alex, you're really, goodbye. Thank you.
I'm pretty sure.
Collect your things.
If you're a lifeguard.
Yeah.
The worst thing that could happen is that you need another lifeguard.
Yeah.
For the lifeguard.
Yeah.
That's terrible.
It's bad.
It's bad.
But something else. And there was another thing too. Now this you can file under another thing that I have to be afraid of.
Those are expensive, by the way, to rent.
I know.
I want a rebate.
That's one thing I splurge on when we go to the Jersey Shore. We go to Ocean City, New Jersey. And I do that very bougie thing where I get the Lithuanian kid.
Yes.
And I say, hey, whatever, Lithuanian kid.
Yeah.
Look, here's whatever it is. And now it's like, $200 for the week, $300 for the week to get the setup, to get the umbrella and the chairs. And now my girls, they don't want to lay on the beach. Now they want to sit in the chairs. They go out in the sun. They pull it in. There's no more like hanging out on the boogie board or laying on a towel. Now they're older. Now they want, so I'm paying for 4 chairs and now 2 umbrellas to give the cover for 4 chairs. It's not a 1 umbrella gig. Now I got to pay, and I don't bring my own umbrella and dig the hole.
No. But then you pay that money and the guy asks you, do you want me to open it? I dance that umbrella over here.
Dance it over here and kiss my wife on the mouth. Give her a thrill. I need you to shake your ass, Lithuanian kid, in my wife's face, because she's looking for a thrill now too, because she's 52. She's looking for an eyeful, just
and
like I am.
I'm not doing it.
And I'm not doing it.
I'm not fulfilling her beach
if
fantasies.
I want anything, I'm no Frankie Avalon for this kid. So anyway, but and then and because I try to be, because I try to be Sinatra, I'm duking the kid.
Yeah.
So I'm throwing this kid, the Lithuanian. So anyway, when we go so now I've got this whole new thing to be, because this happened on so now, what is it? Last week, a swimmer on the Jersey coast was stabbed in the leg by a needlefish.
Wow.
An entirely new thing for TJ to be afraid of. All kinds of cancers, contact wounds from Chinatown turtles, and
the needlefish.
Now the rare clash between the human and the needlefish, a relative of the flying fish, which is always a fascinating video to see, has a distinctive bill. It's a fish with a bill that's long and narrow and sharp. And it happened off of LBI on the 25th.
The needlefish.
The needlefish.
Now,
stabbed
I was
in
in
the leg.
Coney Island, and there were needlefish all in the sand.
Yeah.
Hypodermic needlefish.
Hypodermic needlefish. Right.
That's a Coney Island. So
Right.
they migrated from Coney Island down there. But those umbrellas are a lot of money. I tell you what, it makes the vacation a lot more money.
Yes.
You paid a lot.
Oh, yeah.
But not that girl, Alex. It was on the arm.
Oh, it was in the arm. It was true the arm and out the other side.
I tell you what, I pay $40 for the umbrella.
Yeah.
Leave it in your shoulder. I have 4 more hours. You stand
Stay
there.
right there. Stay right there.
Could you bleed towards the boardwalk?
Yeah. I'm sorry, the sun is in my, I'm trying to read the paper. Could you just, Alex, could you please, honey, just, yeah, that's funny. You, telling the first responders, could you guys apply the tourniquet just a little bit over there because I'm trying to read my paper. It's, 4:47 here on Another Side of Midnight. Me, TJ McCormick, and we're joined by Fred Rubino. And again, if you're going to be in the Naples, Florida area, Tuesday and Wednesday coming up next week, he's going to be at the Off the Hook Comedy Club. A great opportunity to go see our buddy live and in person. And, let's see. You know what? Let's take the opportunity to grab our quarter of the hour break. Let's do that now. And then we come and we finish strong. Big finish. Me and Fred Rubino coming up. It is Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormick on 77 WABC. If you want to give a call one last time, 1-800-848-9222. We shall return in just a moment. Don't go nowhere.
The best thing about Music Radio 77 WABC is you. You listen to Vinny Modugno every Saturday at 5 p.m. Followed by Cousin Brucey's Saturday Night Rock and Roll Party. Then at 10, it's Saturday Nights with Tony Orlando. And on Sunday, it's Boulevard Sundays with Sinatra. With your host, Joe Piscopo.
You are the best thing. WABC.
It's Another Side of Midnight.
Political humorist TJ McCormick.
Now, to the Bernard McGurk studios of 77 WABC.
Here's TJ McCormack.
It is 4:52 on Sunday morning here. Sunday morning, the 29th of June. And we are joined here on 77 WABC by Fred Rubino, our buddy who brings the laughs and brings the energy every Sunday morning when he's around town and stops in and joins us here in the studio. And on Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormick. So, and by the way, once again, everybody in the family, I'm grateful. This has been a great weekend. Saturday morning, Sunday morning, these have been great shows. We covered a lot of ground. We did everything the way that we're supposed to do it here. We've been covering not just politics, not just life, not just fun stuff, not just serious stuff. We've been all over the map doing it the way we do it, and I'm really grateful to Bill and Tony for just finger on the pulse the whole time, Bill. I'm really grateful for
the
that.
Big beautiful Bill.
Been there. Been there. Been there, and I vote for you. I vote for you, sir. You are passed. You are indeed the big, beautiful Bill. Really grateful, gang. Just everybody, this has been a great weekend. So thank you, and thank you for supporting the show because everything's going great in terms of all the numbers. We're doing wonderful stuff here, and my thanks again to Mr. Katz and everybody here. It's just been fantastic. Chad Lopez looking after me. I'm grateful to everybody for the opportunity, and it's working out. So that's great. So thank you. So Fred, let me bring this home with you here, Pally. So California women, a California woman who masterminded her famous husband's death. Now this takes commitment. Apparently this woman, masterminded the killing of her husband, who was an internationally known hairdresser. The guy was a beauty executive. He was known in the beauty world. He made products and all that stuff. Apparently, oversaw the killing of her husband at their LA home 8 years ago. Finally, she was sentenced Monday to life in prison without the possibility of parole. You would think at least that's what she'd get.
You don't have a nice enough life.
Right.
You're living in $1 million home in L.A., married to an internationally famous hairdresser.
Right.
You need more than that?
Right.
This woman is a monster. And she planned it with her racquetball coach. She was wanted.
That's this story. Oh my God. Right. Okay. I had heard about this. Okay. Yeah. It was like a relationship with the pool boy or something like that.
What, the racket?
Right. Yeah.
Listen, you become rich. Yeah. Racquetball's gone.
Yeah.
Your tennis, your Zumba instructor.
Right.
Then we could say.
Zumba? Oh
Zumba?
boy, you really turn on that accent.
Yeah.
Your Zumba?
Is that?
That's exactly how you said it. I love it. Oh my God, Fred.
You
That's
have
gorgeous.
money.
Yeah.
Notoriety.
Yeah.
Privilege.
Yeah.
And the best hairdresser living
right
in your house.
Right.
This is Shangri-La to most women.
Right.
And throw in some shoes and she never has to leave the house.
Right.
And so, look, there's a man code.
Mm-hmm.
There's a woman code, too. She broke the women code.
What's the woman code?
The women code is that you never give up a great hairdresser.
And you always keep your mouth shut.
And you keep it, and then you're right on
you
your friends.
never, say that again about the hairdresser. You never what?
You never give up a great hairdresser. My wife still goes back to Brooklyn.
Wow.
From Florida.
Right.
And gets her hair done. You never give that up. She murdered him.
She killed him.
No good.
Yeah,
no good.
No, good. And you know what? So she should be going to jail just for being so stupid.
Yes. You see,
let alone murderous.
Sometimes you got to travel. Like my milkman has traveled 1,000 miles, and I still have the same milkman. So there's something up there. I think something's wrong. But we have a men's code. Let's say you're single.
Okay, I'm single.
And you walk into a room full of single women.
Right.
And there's women who are lawyers, doctors, all kinds of artists, cashiers, whatever.
Yeah.
Who are you hitting on?
The hairdresser.
The one with the biggest breasts.
Oh, sorry. Okay.
That's the man code.
Okay, yes,
it
that's
doesn't
true.
matter. You could work at McDonald's or be the head cardiologist.
Yeah.
Let's see what you look like.
Isn't that something, by the way?
That's a man code.
And that's something that I'm sometimes aware of as I'm aware of it, where I'm like sort of just taken by a vision. And I'll stand there and go, wow, I'm 50. I just turned 57. So I'm 57 years old. I'm still looking. It never goes away. It never goes away.
Some people are worse than the others. I mean, you went to the mental house to stalk this poor woman who probably did that to get away from you.
Yeah, probably, yeah. I was like, Mimi, hi, I'm your cab driver. Remember me?
Remember me?
Remember me from those few trips? Hi, I brought you cookies. Oh man, in retrospect, boy, now I get it.
Yeah, and her sister
was
like, yeah, why don't you go visit her?
Why don't you go visit my sister?
She probably said it sarcastically.
And I was like, you think?
Yeah, she cut herself. Why don't you go visit her? Hey, that's a great idea. She must be really into me.
Wow, thank you for the support. I never knew that you had my back like that, sis. Wow.
So coming from you, that's...
Hi, I'm here to visit. Oh my God, I never thought of it through that lens.
She never called you again, did she?
No, she didn't.
You're on some list somewhere.
Oh God. That explains a lot.
Explains a lot. You were looking to impale her under the
God.
Asbury Park boardwalk, weren't you?
If you know what I mean. Oh my God. What am I gonna do?
But this woman, you have a great hairdresser. You put up with it. Whatever he's doing, it doesn't say that he did anything. She just wanted the money.
She just wanted the money. Yeah, some people are nuts like that. They just want that path to the dough. And you never know who's in their ear, you know?
Yeah.
And
the racket coach.
Oh, God.
Racket ball.
All right, gang. Listen, Fred Rubino, thank you so much again. Tuesday, Wednesday at Off the Hook Comedy Club in Naples, Florida. If you're in the area, go say hi to our buddy. Catch him live. My thanks again to Bill. Sincerely, Bill and Tony, thank you guys. Thank you. Coming up, Liz Radabali in the 5 a.m. news. News Hour. My name is TJ McCormick. This is Another Side of Midnight with TJ McCormick. We'll see you next Saturday morning, Saturday and Sunday morning, 2 to 5 a.m. Until then, I wish you all the luck in the world. God bless.
77 WABC invites you to a family fun day and softball showdown on July 20th with net proceeds benefiting Shriners Children's. John Sterling will call the game as the FDNY takes on the NYPD with special guests Dwight Gooden, Art Shamsky, 77 WABC hosts including Sid Rosenberg, Anthony Cumia, Lionel, Dominic Carter, and many more. For more info and to buy tickets, go to ShrinersChildren'sChampions.org. That's ShrinersChildren'sChampions.org.